Okay, Philip, you have,
I have a road.
He has a right of way somewhere,
oh, here it is.
and then he has budgets.
The rest of Or on Valley Road, they're across from his mother's. They want to run a water line across the road.
Commercial.
Wonderful. Did you look at that?
Yeah, it's fine.
I make a motion that we approve the county permit for Rustavore across the county road, number 2021-62.
62.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, we approve the permit number 2021-62. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I moved some numbers around, I'm not sure how much it was up over last year.
Is this
It's the same.
anything?
What is that?
For the emergency
Oh, that's Phillips, I don't know what that is.
emergency
Oh.
management deal.
Emergency management.
Yeah, it looks like you moved some numbers around,
Yeah,
other equipment and.
This is just FYI.
yeah. It's not water, is it? It's not water, is it? Is it water outside?
No, I
Took
think
some
it was probably some
off
under the
meetings
vest.
and off the dues and then added it back on repairs.
Oh,
And then didn't have any computer. Added that back on.
Yeah, most of it was just shuffling on.
Yeah.
Just trying to put numbers in line every year on items, so I do know we'll have to pay for striping again next year. Because we were turned down again for a project for next year and one for the year now, for high-risk rural roads on the road striping.
Oh, really?
Oh, there's a lot of people that are going after that. And a lot of them are
I mean, it was a well-kept secret for a while?
Oh, some guys just didn't do it very much.
Oh,
So you're actively looking for one more?
No, we added one.
Okay.
We-
Oh, okay.
We
So
added
that's
one
for-
this year.
Okay.
But right now, I don't have any summer help unless I find somebody that can probably run a tractor and mow.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna, get anybody.
Marshall, you do anything this summer?
Oh, he's getting his motors going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'd buy a new tractor mower or a tractor tire, because it was,
Ouch.
their tractors are, this is a 6-tier.
From what they probably run over, that's not.
So as far as striping,
It runs 40 to 45,000.
any other big projects that you got?
No, we'll get so much, and there's some of that's not in there. We get so
From
much
the
federal
state,
funds exchange
yeah.
money,
Yeah.
but we always get that, and what we'll do with it is try to make sure we either buy some rock and put it on shoulders or something to that effect. It looks good when you do that, it just, a lot of money going out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I think,
does look
I
nice.
think it makes the road a lot better. I mean,
What's
it's a lot
the-
safer.
What's your road oil prices doing? Are they?
They are steady from last year, which I guess the way things
That's-
are.
that's good.
That's a good deal.
I figured they'd be going up.
Fuel's up and we haven't really changed the budget or the line item on that for a while.
Yeah.
Some of the signs are probably getting toward the end of, trying to think when we did that project, it's been a while. Sign project, but most of the signs are in the last 10 years before they lose their retroactivity.
Wow.
It's easy for you to say.
I mean, you could see them a long way down the road, but at some point, they have to be, the sun takes their toll on them.
Yep. No vehicles for next year?
We haven't budgeted on any vehicles for a long time, just
Uh-huh.
because honestly, they always got pushed out. So basically what we do is whatever we save, or whatever money we have left
In your
over,
reserve,
we put it in reserve and
Yeah.
buy stuff from there.
yeah.
Because I can't remember how many years ago it was they asked, it's been a few years ago, they asked me what kind of equipment we had coming down the line, you know?
Yeah, that's been a long time ago.
We're catching up on dump trucks, but we've got 2 graders we need to go at some point that they're getting over 5, 6, 7,000. There's one of them has 7,000 hours going.
Yeah.
Dump trucks, we've got 3 that need to go at some point, anytime, because they are long past 10 years, and that's what we figured the life of them when we bought them, is a used truck.
Mm-hmm.
We just sent one back to Dodge to get it fixed. Engine shop has it because front seal on it's leaking. We took it out there and had it fixed, and we got it home and didn't get it a day, and it started leaking again, so they got it back.
What's in his reserve, Nita?
We paid everything out of it this year for the mowers and the truck.
Yeah,
So we spent 220,000.
yeah,
Probably a little over 100.
His machinery reserve?
yeah.
$113,000, is all he's got in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah. That's not what I mean.
'Cause we bought-
113,000,
Uh-huh.
and that's what and you're estimating you'll transfer 150.
That was
built in for 2020.
That was numbers that I did not mess with those bottom numbers because that's stuff Melissa does, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah.
So
That's what we're projecting to transfer this year, is
Yeah.
150. Could be more, could be less,
So might end up with 275 in there.
if he puts it all in road.
Yeah.
Or in machinery, sometimes you split it between that and improvement.
I try to at least put the federal funds exchange money back into the
Yeah.
improvement side.
Yeah.
Now, the improvement side, we got a bunch of AB3 rock that.
And there'll be
put on the
some-
shoulders.
To go in that, right?
Yes.
Which,
So,
above the transfers, the other deductions, 200,000, what would that be?
that's what we build in so we don't have to amend his budget every year because of that federal funds exchange money.
Mm-hmm.
She built that in there, so it's already in there.
Okay,
It just saves us 5,000 from amending the budget,
yeah.
so.
So looking from the 2021 budget to the proposed 2022 budget, it looks like there's a $200 and some thousand.
Well, it's probably those, I didn't look at that close, probably those transfers in that.
Yes,
Is
the
that the
transfers are
difference?
added into the other one?
Yes.
Yeah, they're in the
Yeah.
total, they're in the bottom line of that 2.4.
350,000.
So you take 300 off of that.
350,000.
So I'm up about maybe 75.
250.
Yeah, it's 350K plus the 2.2575.
And 51,000, that's on the salary side.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that concerns me about salaries is we have been stagnant for so long that I'm afraid we're gonna start losing help to other entities or other people that,
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, everybody here knows as well as I do, anytime you gotta start using your time to train, it's productive time, but it's not like the crew I got right now. I mean, I just say, here's what we're gonna do, we go, and you don't spend you have to spend too much time training them what you're doing. Now, how do you put work on that? I don't know.
3.1% increase.
And that's with the 3% raise.
Yeah, well, he's saying, he's proposed going up 78,300, 50 some of that.
Yeah, it's
His
right up
salary,
on the top
yeah.
line item, so, I mean,
Yeah.
we have 630,
Yeah.
680.
Yeah.
629 to 680.
But total increase from 2.497 to 2.575, 78,000 increase. That's 3.1%. So,
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the oil and aggregates that we use, I mean, they're pretty much stay the same. I mean,
Yeah.
just like I told them, we have so much money and that's what we're gonna have, and whatever your price is, you're probably still, we're only gonna spend that much money. That's why last year I was holding the price for the account, wasn't it? So that really actually didn't really make a lot of sense to me, but they get to decide.
Nets are gone.
what are you thinking on dump trucks? Can
It
we
would-
find some good used ones somewhere again, or those are like
Finding
10?
anything if right now is gonna be terrible, and used.
Well, and
I-
it's expensive.
Yeah, I doubt that we can even find used. I mean, do I think we need to buy a truck like we just bought? No, I don't think
Yeah.
we have to buy a spreader. I mean, we can get by with 2 spreaders. It puts pressure on that other truck, but we did it for a long time that way.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, 4 spreaders is a bonus. I mean, you can go out and you can get your roads treated and then get back in here. It's when it snows that first day, sometimes when the guys are all in their own corners, it becomes a problem. And some days you just don't get to it. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is. So, I mean,
yeah, I wish we could find some used ones somewhere, but it is tough.
yeah, I mean, if we could find another stainless steel spreader like the state has out here,
Yeah,
like we got from the state to put in that one truck, we had very little issues with that spreader.
yeah,
Yeah, so somebody says, well, how come you don't treat all your roads? And I says, money.
yeah,
That's all. So salt is $42 a ton, and we mix it, and we pretty much get through with 100 ton or, well, 150 ton, and we can get through a winter, maybe 2 winters with
Yeah.
that. Just treating the stop signs, sheltered areas, curbs, intersections that need to be treated, bridges.
What is the state doing? They're buying their trucks new, obviously,
Mhm.
almost all the time.
Yeah.
Do they have like a surplus auction or what's their avenue of
Sometimes
getting rid of
they
them?
have surplus property that they will run through some of and they're only running their trucks.
Which they sell a lot with Purple Wave too, I guess.
Yeah.
Their used stuff.
And actually, they have a surplus thing that you can go through.
Yeah,
But usually, a lot of the trucks they're getting rid of have problems and issues, and they're not gonna fix them, and which I don't blame them.
yeah,
But they will put them up for sale. I mean, City of St. John's bought a little, and then City of Stafford's bought a couple of them.
yeah,
If one would come along and it would be the right price, the right deal, I think that's what we're gonna have to look at for some pickups, to be honest.
yeah,
So, because pickup fleet, other than my pickup, everything's got over 100,000 miles. And I mean, it's not the wear and tear on the motor that concerns me, it's the wear and tear getting in and out of them with the doors and the seats and everything else that's in it.
yeah.
Because we got a Komatsu loader that's a 2007, so now we're 14 years old. That's probably as long as we've ever kept a loader. We usually try to have one or get them at a 10-year interval.
And we put too many hours on graders to lease graders, right? We have to own them to make it.
Yeah, and
work out, right?
at least, I don't think they're doing, you mean, you're talking about just a straight lease?
Well, They're doing kind of a hybrid now, aren't they? Like basically it's,
You can do a lease purchase where you
Yeah.
purchase it at the end, or you
Yeah.
have the option to purchase it at the end.
Yeah.
Now, they used to have a guaranteed buyback, but they don't
They don't do that.
There's nobody doing that anymore.
yeah.
Now, I know the state, some of their graders, when they come in, are pretty low grade, pretty low hours, but just the way things have been last year, everything's so tight. I know guys that have brand new trucks ordered and they're not getting them this year.
Oh, yeah.
I heard them tell somebody that they had a grader that's supposed to be in here this month, when they said, well, it will be in here in October or November. Yeah, it's just getting nuts. And I don't think it'll get any better for a
And that's
year.
what's driving the used market up so high.
Yeah.
You can't get new stuff, and the good used stuff is, it's high.
You know, and it's just like, this newer this equipment gets, the less that you can do to it, so a lot of it's gotta go to the shop. I mean, you can fix, simple things, but unless you have a computer and a lot of other things, and I don't know if you buy one, if that's worth the investment or not.
I don't think it is.
So, well, then you gotta have the training.
Yeah. And as soon as you buy it, it's outdated the next day. So in 2020, you were able to carry over $350,000 into your capital outlay. Is that right?
I believe it's
Transfer.
between,
Between the other deduction and the
Yeah.
transfer.
And hopefully we'll be able to do the same thing.
yeah,
Then
just
this
depending
year.
on how much township work we do and whatnot. And actually, we did a lot this spring.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, if you haven't, I mean, our roads are a mess right now.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of ours down south.
They are?
Yeah. Well, our roads are a bigger mess than they have been for a while, because we had just got through pulling the shoulders in on them. It's just something you have to do on a dirt road.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
Oh, Larry Curtis?
The county road ought to be better. This one, and I got about 100 yards in, and I thought, I made a mistake. And it was too late to back up.
Well, that's where you stay in the middle.
Yeah. Shut your
Stay-
eyes and go.
Stay in the rut,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Go home and wash your pickup.
You got any other questions or comments?
That's it.
Just keep in mind on the 3% increase,
Oh,
when we think about that, I mean, it'd have to be countywide.
Oh, I
For every
understand, I
department.
understand that, I mean,
I'm sure all the guys deserve it, it's just whether we can afford it.
Yeah.
that's your decision, I know that, I've done this long enough, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. And that's, but I put it in there, at least I put it in there.
Yeah. On average, how much do you think you spend a year on? I mean, it's hard to put a deal on it, but I mean, how much equipment, between dump trucks and graders and loaders, I mean, do you think you average spending $200,000 a year on equipment?
You mean buy purchasing?
Yeah,
That's probably what we ought to be purchasing, yes.
yeah.
I mean, the cost of everything, I don't know how you keep up with the cost of everything anymore, to tell you the truth. I mean, because graders are $250,000, $260,000 now. Criminellis, I mean, one time, it hadn't been that long ago, they were $100,000.
Yeah,
But,
but I mean, if we can carry over 350,000, every year, I mean, that ought to give you,
yeah, it's good.
or you could start buying
I-
and building it
And
up.
I would rather try to do that, purchase it, than do a lease purchase on it, where we have payments we're just basically obligating money to.
Yeah,
Because I know the accountants don't like lease purchases.
no, I don't either.
Well, but sometimes I don't know that you have a choice when these things get this high.
Yeah.
But as long as we.
Yeah, I know, like townships do it just because they can't, you
afford it.
can't put enough away,
Yeah.
to do it.
Maybe we gotta talk to our townships and trade the graders in every 5 years.
To trade ours in every 5 years?
No, we ought
Oh.
to talk to the townships that trade theirs every 5 years, cause that'd be a good lower hour machine.
So, yeah, it would be, but then we don't get our government discount off of it.
Yeah,
And that's where we're losing some money there.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's a bad deal or whether it be a good deal, it's just something you'd have to sit down and look at the numbers.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, there's a pretty good government discount on most of the things that we do purchase.
Yeah.
Now, whether it costs you, because on the used side, you're not gonna get that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Clay,
Nothing.
stay off that road for a
I
while.
will. I will, at least a couple of days.
Because it wouldn't have been much fun to get out and hook a chain on.
I think I lost my shoes.
Yeah, it was pretty sticky. I was surprised they were that bad.
Well, these slow rains, I mean.
Yeah, no, they've actually killed us. We've got, it needs to dry up this week and next week just so we can get everything back in good shape.
Yeah, well, it won't be long. We'll be complaining we didn't get any
Need some
moisture.
rain. Wash your
Thank you,
hands.
everyone.
You can go. I mean,
If you're ready.
I'm ready.
Biggest thing that I had to increase was just our salaries, which goes back to, 2020 was when I added a chief and an assistant chief up north, and so that created a higher budget, but the budget was already done after, or prior to adding them in there. Outside of that, I decreased some and increased a couple, it moved some money around, but $10,200 increase overall for 2022.
So what does your chief make, or like I don't know what you call them, the department chiefs or the different
So
location chief and the assistant chief?
I think one of them's 250 and the other one's 150. 250 for the chief and 150 for the assistant chief. And part of that other increase is that we've replaced a lot of people that now show up.
Yeah.
We took people off the roster that just never came to fires or meetings
Yeah.
or anything like that, and we have attendance now throughout the whole county. So, we're paying a little bit more, but I feel we've got really good help on the fire department now.
Yeah. Let's say if we we probably it'd be interesting to know how many firefighters you have now compared to what it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago.
We have the same amount.
Oh, really?
We try to maintain right around 60 to 65 people throughout the whole entire county. And we have that many people. 4 or 5 years ago, we had that many people, but we only
Nobody
had
was attending.
40 of them that had done anything. So we had 20 to 25 spots that just were held empty.
See, I thought when Davin was in here wanting the bunker gear, I thought we had to buy like 90 bunker gear.
We got like six, I think our roster's 65 or something like that. Yeah.
Speaking of which, all the bunker gear is up to date, air packs.
Well, so this is,
You missed last meeting when you brought that paper in.
Oh,
yeah, but.
where's the minutes? Let me see the minutes.
I do actually have the quote. This is the first year that we gotta start replacing stuff out of the 10-year spread
Yes.
out plan. And I've got a quote here for 20 new SCBA bottles, which is part of the plan for this year. And next year we have that. I didn't bring another copy.
And that's around 30,000.
So the SCBA bottles, the quote I got here is $22,900.
Okay.
So, I mean, but that's all planned out, and I can get you guys another copy of that 10-year plan of replacement and stuff. But yes, our bunker gear and our wildland gear are all still good for now. We've got, I think, just 2 years on bottles, and then we go to bottles and wildland gear, starting to replace it.
What's this leases?
So Stafford, Maxville, Hudson, and Seward, and Radium,
All go into the,
we paid them, I think it's $900 a year for their building.
yeah, okay. That's
As
what I
part
thought.
of the county's contribution to it, for using it.
And then the city supply the electric.
They're responsible for heat,
Yeah.
electric, all that.
That just kinda helps pay for part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that bottom line transfers out, is that your transfer out into your capital outlay fund,
It just goes, yeah, to our reserve,
to the reserve?
which I think last year we done a little over 40 or right at 40.
Yeah, it varies year to year, what he has left.
What do you have in your capital outlay fund now?
Thought it was
Your
300.
reserve?
He's got a pretty good chunk in there, let me look.
Thought it was 318 or something, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was 2 something.
$319.
So you had said, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago that Maxwell was thinking about doing a new station over there? So would that be like a joint venture between the city and the county, or
Yes.
how would that, I mean, what would our responsibilities on that be?
Well, I would imagine it would kind of shadow what St. John done for St. John City and County Fire out here. Each pays their own portion of utilities and a portion of having the building built and stuff like that.
So is it like a 50/50 or 25/75? I don't know how the deal was out here at St. John.
I don't know how it is either,
Okay.
honestly, I really don't. That was, I mean, I was on the fire department, but I wasn't really part of it, I mean,
On the numbers in?
on the numbers end.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see, because they're kind of in the driver's seat on the deal. It's in their city, so if they want it built, they're,
And I know they're putting some numbers together
yeah,
to
get
just
some
kind of,
bids and figure out what it's all gonna
gonna
cost,
cost.
and then come to us and see what we can do.
City pays 37.5% of the gas bill out there and the electric bill. We pay it and they reimburse us. But as far as when the building was built, I think the county built the building, didn't they?
Think
Did
so.
the city build part of that?
I think the city paid a little bit of it, but I don't know as, I don't remember.
I can tell you that.
I know the county paid for the materials for the interior supplies and that loft and
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd have to do some digging to find out that.
Okay.
Any other questions on that?
On your, the bottles that you're gonna buy, will those be coming off this $42,000 firefighters equipment?
Yeah,
And then the other equipment down here on the bottom, 30, that's just if a truck or something? You need to
Yeah.
replace something like that?
we tried to, so at one point in time, we had budgeted and on that 10-year deal, it actually showed the firefighter equipment was 65,000 every year. Back when we cut the budget, I cut that down to 42,000 because I knew for 3 or 4 years I could get by without the full 65 to kind of help out. At some time, we may have to increase that. But what I haven't used, we've been, and that's why last year I rolled 40,000 into our reserve. So that way, if there's a year that you guys say, well, we can't increase your budget to 65,000, you know, on that one line item, I've got money in my reserve that I can still continue with my 10-year plan of replacement stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's basically outlined for like the air bottles, gear, stuff like that when we go to replace it every year.
Yeah.
Is that firefighter's equipment. The other is just, you know, if we have a pump
Miscellaneous.
that goes bad or hose or stuff like that. So, this is the quote for the 20 new air pack bottles.
So they take the old bottles?
Old bottles go to scrap iron,
Really? Such a waste.
They've got a 15-year.
15-year life.
Or
Yeah.
wasteful society.
229.
What do you think, Claire?
I think, well,
Yeah.
I don't think you have a choice.
No.
I was just being courteous
Okay.
before I made the motion.
It's pretty much it.
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept the quote from Municipal Emergency Services for 20 air pack bottles. Do I need to put down the dollar amount?
Please.
For the amount of $22,900.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the bid from MES, Medical Emergency Services, for air pack bottles for $22,900. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
You can have that.
Okay. Thank you.
Last time I talked to you about the Can-Am 6x6, a little change in plans of where I'm getting it.
Might explain that to Clay, he wasn't here.
And you missed a lot.
I must have. How long did the meeting last?
3 hours.
Oh,
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours.
Well, no, didn't we purchase an ATV at one time?
Yes, yes.
And it went away, or?
No, we still
No,
have it.
We have
We
it.
still have it, yeah. If you want, we could go out and you could probably outwalk how fast it goes.
No, that's all right. I was just,
It's just time to replace it. When we got into that fire up by Quivira,
Mhm.
Quivira actually has Can-Am 6x6s, and that's all they use on the refuge and stuff like that. One of my things is, the only thing I really had to replace this year was the air pack bottles, and I thought this year would be a good year to go ahead and update our UTV. Just like up in that area, we had no way to even access to see what we were
Right,
dealing
right.
with. So I kind of reached out to some places, and Can-Am actually is the only one that makes a 6x6 that is actually usable for what we want it to do. And so that's what I was looking at replacing it with, and then I think we're just gonna move that other one around somewhere in the county.
and this is the one that has a small water tank on it, or this will have,
Yeah, we'll actually outfit it with a
I've
water
got a
tank
pic-
and a
I've got a
pump.
picture of what it will look like when it's done. That dealer sent me a picture. This is one they put together for the Hutchinson Fire Department.
oh, okay.
So that one's got a Honda motor and
Yeah.
and a hose reel and a toolbox, but it's a flatbed, and then a 6x6.
What's that Yeti cooler back there? What's it for?
Water.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're buying a base model, and then I added in front bumpers, rear bumpers, skid plates, windshields, stuff like that, and a winch on it. The quote that I was gonna get, I did get the quote from Stillwater. Agri Center out of Hutch got me a quote, got us a $1,500 government discount, plus plus another 10% off of all of the parts, which brought the price to $21,095.09. And that's basically delivered to us when it gets in.
$21.95.
$21,095.09.
And I went ahead and done the $500 deposit through Agri Center. Even though he said that they didn't necessarily require it for government entities, I just,
Yeah. What, I know everybody that I've talked to that's bought these Can-Ams, myself included, has had trouble with the tires, the stock tires.
Mhm.
And I think with where you're gonna be driving it,
and
and you're
that's
the
just,
tire man, I mean, you know better than anybody, but I
Right.
know they make like some 28 tall or some 30 tall 10-ply tires,
yeah.
and
I think
I
there's
guess.
gonna be a lot of, there's gonna be some add-ons that we do, I mean,
Yeah.
because we're gonna upgrade, basically our water tank and pump and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And we're gonna add our own LED lights to it.
yeah. And then he was saying, when I talked to him, he was saying that you can replace the springs in the back and put,
And get heavier,
that's what they did on those 3 that they built for Hutch. Well, they built some for the bombing range and then they built some for Hutch. And they were, he said that made a world of difference putting those springs. He said they're $800 for the springs and the spacer,
yeah.
so. But
And some of that stuff we'll
Yeah.
do it. I just wanted to
You-
get kind of,
yeah, but, so we need to approve just the bike as it
We
is?
approved it
or
last
We
week, didn't
approved
we?
it last week.
yeah,
It's just
Yeah.
coming from
Okay.
different,
Yeah.
so this guy was quite a bit cheaper, just closer.
about $3,300 cheaper.
And it's closer, and they'll probably enjoy working on it since you buy it.
Well, that's the closest place to have it worked on, so
Yeah.
that'll be handy.
Yeah.
Just guessing, if you buy the heavier springs, how much water do you think you can carry on that deal?
Well, so those are rated at, so stock, they're like 1350, I think, is the recommended load capacity on the back.
Yeah.
With a 3,000 pound towing capacity. I would say with the springs, you can probably add another 800, 900 pounds, depending, I don't know how much the springs are. I mean,
You could probably get 200 gallons back there
Yeah.
pretty easy.
yeah,
But I mean, if you had 100 gallons of water, and with the right person, 100 gallons goes a long ways.
yeah. Yep,
That's one thing I would suggest for sure is, I brought my Can-Am home and went and checked cows in it once and had 3 flat tires, and I
Yeah.
took it right back to Hutch and got those PF Goodrich
That's pretty
10
discouraging.
10-ply tires.
yeah.
And I've got buddies that have done the same, you know, I mean, they
I
just
want-
don't.
Look in the
Excellent.
minutes and see what we did last week, what specifically the motion was.
You guys made a motion to have me check with Polaris, and if they couldn't get something, to go ahead and.
So I think we need a
$500
motion to
deposit.
go with this.
Just accept the quote.
A 2021 Defender was discussed. There will be additional costs and accessories.
Yeah, I don't think a motion was made last week, was it?
No,
Um,
we did give consensus to put a
Right, but
$500
let's make
deposit
a,
down.
if you, this is what you wanna go with, make a motion, so it's official.
But then, and then he can do all the smaller
Yes,
accessories and
absolutely.
stuff.
I just done the stuff that I felt like they needed to probably
Yeah.
install
Yeah.
before we got the machine. The rest, I figured we can do it after.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you guys good with it?
yeah.
All right, I make a motion that we accept the quote from Ag Central for a, what's it called, 6x, Can-Am 6x for $21,095.09.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded, we accept the bid from Agri Center for the Can-Am for $21,095.09. All in favor say aye. Aye, motion carried.
You can have it.
Gosh, you are just so nice.
I've got it on my computer, so I
Okay,
don't really
perfect.
need it, so. But other
I'll
than
send
that,
you, if you didn't send those to you, Marshall, I'll send that. He sent it just out of the blue yesterday. He texted me some pictures and they got her set up.
yeah.
It's pretty
Great
sweet.
Bend Fire has a 6x6 that Polaris made 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
And so Pat, with him working up there, he's taken a bunch of pictures how they got theirs set up and
yeah.
stuff like that, so.
It'd be think it'll be a big help. There's been lots of times I wish I had one to
Yeah.
squirt some water.
I wish I had one yesterday.
Yeah,
I'd get those
Pull you out
tractor
of the
tires
mud?
like Hanson's had on his Razor
Back
for
it out of the
general.
pickup.
Those son of guns are dangerous, they'll go anywhere.
Yeah,
But they'll, if you drive around in somebody's yard, it tears the hell out of the yard.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I think that's all I've got. Unless you got
Okay.
something for me.
Will it fit on their old trailer?
Yep.
How long is that deal? That Can-Am?
I don't know.
Not much longer than,
No, I mean, ours is that trailer's a full, utility trailer,
Yeah.
so I don't see it being an issue.
Nope.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
so, Misty. Do we encroach upon your time?
You guys been outside yet? We have a meeting out there. Actually, really nice.
Really?
Yes.
Bob gone?
Finally.
Oh, it is nice. We going to executive session for this or not?
Yes,
Do I
certainly.
need to? Okay.
No.
I am a month behind when it comes to Michelle and putting in for a recommendation of a salary increase for her. COVID was very taxing on her. She had to actually get all the supplies and keep us, the price gouging was going on, comparing all those prices out there. We also worked shorthanded. She had a hectic schedule. She's just my right-hand person. She does a great job. I was looking to increase. She's at range 8, step 2 at $17.74, and I was just looking to increase to range 8, step 3 with the wage of $18.13. I'm going to give that to you. Really busy there.
Yeah.
It's his favorite day when he gets to sign.
Is it? I
think.
think.
He loves it.
Steroid shot.
Have things come back down as far as the price gouging
Yes.
on PPE and stuff? Everything's back
We actually have pretty good supply
to normal.
on hand. Mhm. Yeah.
There's probably a ton of it sitting around now.
Oh, yeah.
Shipping containers full of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had to buy a lot of supplies that we needed at the time, but didn't blow through completely. So, yeah, we do have stuff sitting around, even at our station.
You guys good with this? Yeah. I make a motion that we move Michelle Houston from range 8, step 2 to range 8, step 3, effective June 1st.
Second.
Been moved and second, we approve the step increase for Michelle Houston from range 8, step 2 to range 8, step 3. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. You want me to date this as last month or today?
I tried to use your guys' copier, Nita. I don't know what I did. I ended up getting multiple copies of what I wanted. So do you want a copy of this?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with the budget, I usually go through and I do price comparison, or I look comparison. If it is in the red 2 consecutive years, I usually go back and look and see what we did in 19 and see if we need to adjust the line item anywhere. I did come upon 2. One is tires. In 2020, we were actually over $866. We got to look in, it says $4,466.05, but we actually did. There was a $2,500 one that we found that was actually coded for us that was fire. So there was a mistake there, but we just put it back in, so we're only over $866. This year, already we are over $145.18. We're halfway through the year. So I thought it might be a good idea to increase from 1,000 to 2,000 just to cover, because we were about 1,800 last year. So, and now that we're already in the red on that, we might as well look at increasing it. The other one I found was insurance. Insurance, the year before we were over $15, and this year we're sitting at $736 already. So they didn't seem like there was going to be any other premiums that came out, but we thought we would increase that line item as well, $1,000 to cover any insurance premiums. The last thing, the ambulance is actually, our final payment is going to be this year in November. I was talking to Lisa, she said the last payment they made was in November of 2020. So I was looking at that, whether you guys want to keep that in there for future, or if you want to take it out, it would take our bottom line down $30,000. So with the salaries, I look to increase that. We've got the girls that are going to be getting out of A class back in August, looking at their increases and also if there's a merit increase for anyone else. Right now, we're sitting at 34% of the budget that was used for salaries for 4 months. So it's kind of a little bit of wiggle room, so we wanted to kind of expand that out a little bit. With the $30,000 we were going to take out of the budget, we thought we'd bump that up a little bit to $235,000. So the bottom line is $309,600. Or if you want to keep the ambulance in there, it'd be $339,000, but I budgeted for $309,000 just as a bottom dollar. Is that whatever you guys, I was going to ask your opinion on what you wanted to do with that.
What's in your capital outlay now?
I don't think we have any.
Your reserve, her reserve fund?
Yeah.
Okay, just a second.
If not much, I would err on the side of keeping that in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
To keep,
You better plan for the future.
keep building. Otherwise, you'll just need it later. I mean, you need
Yeah.
it.
Right.
She
Do it
has
now or-
33,000 in there now.
So if we put the 30 in there, we go to 63 automatically.
Mhm.
If you put the 30 in there, it takes it to 339,600.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that 60,000 that's in the 2021 it was what we had to build in. Melissa built that in. She didn't budget for that, so.
Mhm.
Could be, we'll have some extra, we can, I don't know. I
Well,
don't.
that's kind of a Melissa question too on this 30, extra
Well,
30, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah,
We
we'll
could run that
know
by
once
her.
we get the budgets figured out and the evaluations and all that, and this new revenue neutral rate. I'm not sure. I'm just getting into that. I don't know what that's gonna do to
Yeah.
us, so.
I'm not against it, but I guess we'll ask Melissa.
We can put it in for now and see what happens.
She's the
That's
expert.
what I would say.
I would say that if you don't put it in there, eventually you'll be down and then you'll need it.
Yeah.
Because what ambulance would be for replacement?
For
When will that
Stafford.
be?
That's,
That'd be next year.
Yeah,
Next year.
in 2022. Now, I
And
was
then
gonna
we'd
look
start
at,
again with another payment.
yeah, every 5 years, basically. But I was gonna look at applying for that ambulance grant in October to see what we can get, if we can get some help, paying for that as well, so.
Yeah.
I didn't know, last time you'd asked me about where we sat, so I went ahead and printed you guys off, like what we filled out, what we brought in so far for the year. If you wanted that. So far, we have billed out $82,286, and we have brought in since yesterday, $65,210.36 is where we sit.
where were you at? I was behind. Is
Oh,
it the last
Yeah,
page?
yeah. We billed out, page 3, $82,286. And then on the last page is what we actually brought in, $65,210.36. And that's it yesterday.
Going back on your budget on the tires, I mean, that's just tires for the ambulances and stuff like that?
Yeah. We saw with Medic 1, we had to actually replace all the tires after it'd been sitting for, since we had it basically over there because they hadn't had a lot of call volume. So when we started getting it out and running it, we started blowing through tires on Medic 1 like crazy. So we had to end up, Marshall came out, looked at them and said, you need to replace them all because it's sitting and not moving for quite some time.
Yeah.
So. Medic 2 actually burns through tires too because of the deer guard
Oh,
on the
yeah.
front of it. It's extra weight. Yeah, so
Really?
we've been looking at rotating the tires and trying to keep them, but it's that extra weight on the front end doesn't help when it comes to tires.
Yeah.
It's a good thing for the, the body of the ambulance. It keeps it structurally sound, but as far as weight, it adds quite a bit of weight to the front end.
Yeah. I'm surprised that that 1-ton chassis doesn't handle that better than that.
That's what we've been seeing the most of is 1 and 2 go through tires.
So 1 is the one you use the most, or not?
1 is the Maxville unit we bring in, yeah, so, but 2 is what we use the most, and 4 actually has, well, we've had to replace medic units on our tires on it as well, and staff, or they run quite a bit as much as we do, so. It's weird, because tires and insurance, I haven't had to adjust that line item for a long time, either one of them, so it was just kind of crazy how those come about.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you guys.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the May 26th, 2021 meeting.
Second?
Moving second, we approve the minutes of May 26th. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried.
Guess we can look through these tax roll corrections.
Carol, we're recessed.
Well, you know you're gonna use that all the time.
Huh?
You know you're gonna use that all the time.
Yeah, that's why I wrote it.
I know you like it.
Revenue.
Go
Just as
home
it flows out.
Go home and say that 27 times so you can
I
remember.
know you is. You wrote it down.
Yeah, it's a mess,
Here's,
especially when we have to start sending out
one.
notices to taxpayers.
I think you have all this in order. Are you ready for me then, or?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is this your?
No, this is a couple things before we get there,
Okay.
okay? The first thing that I have, and I think I have everybody's in order, the first thing is this page here. And, actually before we get started, I probably need to apologize for having a little chip on my shoulder 2 weeks ago, so I just want to tell you all I'm sorry, so.
Your apologies, like I said.
Yeah.
Okay, on this here, this is what you requested to kind of give you an idea where I spend a lot of evening or off-site information. So I highlighted the 4. These are the different phases. The agricultural valuation takes a lot of time from June to September. The 2 that are probably the most cumbersome for me is the comparable sales approach in October to January. And then the final review process, that's November to March. Those 2 processes is when I have to look at every house and determine what value method I'm going to use on every dwelling in the county. And that takes a little time. And there would be, and since I'm the one doing that, it just takes a lot of time, because then you have the commercial, you gotta look at all the commercial also. So those would, to answer your, I hope this helps answer your question, those would be the 4 phases.
Okay.
That time, and that time of the year.
So really, second half of the year, you're pretty busy yet,
With
Or
off-site stuff.
offsite stuff. So basically from now till, well, I guess final review goes into March, but June to January or February.
June to October is when I do all the market studies.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, because we certified to NEDA all the values. And what we are currently waiting on right now is the state of Kansas updates the replacement cost new yearly to every county in the state through the Orion. You can't really, some counties do, but they get written up. You can't really start a study until you get the replacement cost new where it needs to be for the year 2022. Because in an appraisal, the first thing you do is the land value, then the depreciation. The depreciation comes from the replacement cost new. If you start with that wrong, it's all wrong throughout. So I just wait until the state does their downloads and recost everything, then we rock and roll. So that's kind of where we're at on our calendar right now. The second 2 pages, and hopefully they're stapled together.
Uh-oh, I've seen these before.
Okay, this is an update to you guys on where we're kind of at. I put a kind of theory thing together. I've been working on this here. I talked to Zoe at the Property Evaluation Department. She actually likes what I came up with. And if you guys kind of are okay with this, she's going to pursue it with K-State. And she's already talked to the 3 counties on this here. And sorry, this is my work page. On here, there's 3 counties that have soil per soil that is going to go like, I'll show you down here, acre for acre on different soils. There's only 3 of us out of the 16 counties. It's us, Pratt, and Harvey. Unfortunately, we have the most acres involved in this. Okay? And the reason the state says this would probably work is the Cheney Water District was a mandatory, an organization paid to have that redone back in 15 and 16. That was a mandatory, they had to do that by a deadline. This getting rid of the car wow was not paid by anybody. It was done to correct errors, is why doing it different would work. It's 2 different ways, 2 different things, okay? Kind of keep that in the back of your mind there. Okay, so the first thing in yellow up here, we gained soil type 5961. We gained 46,304 acres. And we're losing soil type 6330, which is that car wow that is totally incorrect. We deleted 46,300. So that's what I'm talking about. It's coming across acre for acre.
So they're switching 6330 to 5961.
Correct.
Okay.
And if you look on the next page, they're the 2 in yellow.
So they're basically just changing the name of the Carlisle clay.
Pretty much.
I thought that they were taking like 3 soil types together to make one.
Pretty much, and that's what we went through on down there. Now that we have those soils, now it's just a rollover.
Okay.
Okay.
That was a different thing. Back in 16, we didn't have these soils. They were new to us then.
Okay.
Now we have them. Now it's a rollover. Okay. Now, so what that would do is it would take the 6330 soil from 76, now this is 2021, now 2022 would be different, but we need to have something to work from.
Yeah.
For dry crop would be $76 an acre, it would jump to 171. That percentage right there is already higher than we seen in 15 and 16, okay? So the irrigation, the grass would be okay. The irrigation would go from $99 an acre. Does somebody else want to read that next number?
No.
To 655. You have it. You got it right, Todd.
Oh.
You just can't hardly believe it.
What, help me out here. The soil type,
Yellow. The 6330 is going away,
yes.
and it's going to come up to this
Yes,
line
to
here.
5961.
So
We're
go
going
over
from 76. Okay,
for
okay.
the irrigated.
There, I was looking for the yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Okay. Okay. Now.
No.
Now, I just wanted to show you first why I tried to come up with a new system.
We need an AED in here.
Okay.
I need one right in there. Okay, The 50, if we go back to the front page, the 5905, we're gaining 48,232 acres in the 5905. They are deleting the 5935, same amount of acres, so we'll go back to the orange. We're losing 5935, so the dry crop is gonna go from $52 an acre to $227 an acre in 1 year. The irrigation is gonna go from 235 to 492. That's not near as bad as the other one. But you break it down, this is what's gonna happen, okay? Okay, now, this is the system, this is the theory that I would like to use, okay? If you go back to, and on the top of that page, you remember we used 8 years of information for crops. Okay, landlord net income for 8 years. Okay, this was my theory to the state. What if, instead of implementing these values in 1 year, what if we used 1 year of the new soil, 7 years of the old soil, and implement this over like a 6-year period? And I said, I don't care if you started a 2-year and 6-year of the old.
It's
But
kind of like
let's,
neighborhood revitalization in a way
but,
where you,
but we're going
you
upward.
stair step your way
Yeah.
up to
Yeah.
your full.
And she's 100% behind it.
Really?
I think that'd be a good deal.
Now, is this somebody in
You'd have a
PVD?
heart attack.
Zoe would be, she would
You
be
ran some
over the
scenarios for me
agricultural at
This time
PVD.
last year when.
She has to take this,
Yeah.
Roger Ham
Ground
retired,
up by you, some irrigated ground, double.
so she has to take this to her superiors at PVD. If they think this may be okay, and they're gonna wait for a phone call from me, if you guys are good, they're not gonna wait on Pratt or Harvey, because they don't have as much as we do.
Yeah, we're by.
I mean, we have
far-
100,000 acres.
Yeah, we're by far and
They have
large
like-
the most affected by
They have
this.
like 15,000.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, when you ran some scenarios for me, maybe this time last year when they first started talking about this, there's some acres in Stafford County, irrigated acres, that will double in property tax, correct?
Well,
Just by- And some that'll more than double, like say, just for instance, from $3,000 a year to $6,000 a year.
It'd be worse than that,
Well,
because,
if they have that,
and
but-
we have 48.
I know we looked up a couple specific pieces of ground around.
You're talking about specific 127
Yes,
acres and so forth. Yeah.
and the majority of them won't have all 59,
Of the same soil.
35, or 50, yeah, 5961 now. They don't have all 5961.
That's right.
But there are some pieces of ground that have 80% 5961, or even
That's right.
50% that'll double.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have some, remember you have 46,000 acres, and I'm gonna say a lot of that 6330 is irrigated. Then you're gonna go from you're gonna go to the worst scenario, you're gonna go from $99
To 655.
to $655. But this would take a gradual to where we need to be, and I think it still would be fair, because, you know, we dealt with 1/5 of the county. The rest of this is the 4/5 of the county, and this was not mandated.
I know, so some of this ground, just from what we were looking at, we were specifically looking in the northwest part of the county, and some of this ground was the 6330 that will go up so much. And that's close to the border of Pawnee
That's correct.
or Edwards, for instance. I guess there's nothing we can do, I mean, because they're not gonna be near as high,
No, no.
right across the board.
Because Pawnee County's working over there, Pawnee County's, their use values, and I don't know if you remember them sheets when we did the Pratt County, Edwards, Stafford, nobody's as high as we are.
Yeah.
The only county that's close is Harvey. Yeah. Yeah. So on the front scenario, then, you know, and I just wrote down, you know, what if we did 1 year, 7 year and worked it up? I mean, if the state wanted to go 2 and 6 and so forth, you know, just to the valuations will go up, but they're not gonna be at this magnitude. And we also got the approval for is because when we get the new water ratio tables that we get in the end of June, instead of using maybe a 3-year average of the last 3 water usage, because of the end guns and so forth, we do have the okay to use the current year. Because what I would like to do is up-step these values and then just use the most current for the water ratios to be the fairest to the home farmers. That's my game, that's what I kind of foresee on a happy way to get through this scenario.
So we have issues with Stafford County land values compared to Pawnee and Edwards.
They're already
Yeah.
high.
Huge.
There's also, I think, a discrepancy of like Ellis County and Russell County on
Mhm.
adjacent properties,
Mhm.
you know. And at one time, we all discussed about going to Topeka. I'm wondering if maybe we ought to try to get somebody from Ellis County, you know, if this ever comes to be, I mean, if we can, to get them involved. Because it just said, to me, it's really not fair
Mhm.
that we're just a county line difference and the soils are the same and the values are
Way out of whack.
way out of whack.
You know, the one person that was kind of with us, because if you remember, the quick scenario would have been, instead of having nine soil districts or zones
Yeah.
over the state, we was looking at, 11 or 13, making those, I think the zones are too wide across the state, because like Russell County might be in with Riley County.
It's a lot different.
Stafford County is in with Harvey County and Marion County, they're too wide, the soils, they should be split more north and south.
And that's why there's a big, huge jump when you come to the boundary line.
My opinion, yes.
Yeah, just
How did they come up in
years
those?
ago, Stafford County was Marion County.
Well, maybe that's why we're
Way
with them.
back when,
Maybe
yeah.
that's why we're with them.
The value of the soil types comes from the state. So I mean, I know the soil conservation, they give you what kind of soil types. And then how does the state determine what the landlords, they're basically basing this off what the landowner's income is off that ground.
Okay,
So how they determine that?
okay. And remember, the Kansas State Ag and Statistics, or the new organization in Kansas State, they don't call it that anymore. They get the questionnaires that are sent back in, that use all that study. They're actually the ones that pulls out the landlord net income, the expenses, the water ratios, on past years, the fence costs, if there's water or not, they're the ones that do all of that for the state of Kansas. And then they turn that into landlord net income. And then they give that information to the state of Kansas. And then the state of Kansas converts landlord net income to so much per acre. And the simple way to do it is you use a cap rate.
So do they send out surveys to the landlords and ask them what kind of income and what kind of cash rent you get, and then they look at that?
That's right.
And then they do their magic and then they send it off to the state?
Which most of ours are probably thrown in the trash
Yeah.
and not completed,
Yeah,
But that's why they say they look over, I think over the whole state, over 850 or turn back, and then they look at them and compare from one year to the other.
850 for the whole state.
See, and that's a detriment.
That's a detriment.
If they
Um,
fill them out.
It would help.
It would help.
A lot. And one thing, on this here, and I think, and one reason maybe the state kind of agreed with me right away on, is you guys probably know as well as anybody, there's some legislatures that's gonna look at this here, and we're gonna get blamed for so many things just to go increase revenue. You know, I kind of heard what you were talking about in here a little bit there. But the blame isn't on us. You know, but we're the ones who will be blamed according to the legislators that any opportunity you get, you're gonna raise something to go to profit your county. I think this system will even make it look, and maybe we can even win them over, say, you know, that's not our job, that's not why we're here. We're trying to do this fairly, we want it to be accurate, you know, we don't want to gouge our taxpayers. And I think this would even show them that maybe we're not doing that, you know? I feel like we need something to win, just feels like we need to win, sometimes I feel like we need to win Topeka over,
Yeah.
you know what I
That's
mean?
a good way to
Well,
put
just to
it.
level the playing field. I mean,
That's-
that's this whole idea.
And so, I can't come up with any other idea, you guys, to make this a smooth,
I think that's a good idea,
I really can't.
because there's no way we can get, we gotta do that, I mean,
We would have to do it. And what I asked the.
And there's no way to protest it or
No.
yeah.
No,
above.
no,
Because it's done is done.
Yeah.
because to be honest with you, we kinda asked for this to be done. Because we knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that 6330 isn't waste ground. It does pretty good.
Yeah.
It had to be fixed, but, wow.
Yeah,
What a
I would
wake-up
say,
call.
the prorated approach would be the best. I mean, if you're gonna have to do it, I'd rather do it over 7 years than
Okay.
over, I mean, wouldn't you guys think? If we have no other
It would
choice.
lessen the pain.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of ground change hands.
Because even with when we did the car wild down in the 3 townships,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those people suffered,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but across the road, it was $35 or whatever, some ridiculous amount.
Mhm.
But those values hadn't been plugged in, and probably haven't been yet, have they?
That I don't know.
I doubt it.
I haven't kept up with, you know. The biggest change we seen back then in 15 and 16 was we had, and we only had 6,905 acres, went from $73 an acre to 221. We had 6,900 acres at that high percentage. And in this time, you're gonna have probably 40,000. To kind of give you an idea.
So on the 6330, we have about 40,000 acres?
On the front thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep.
46,000.
And then 6330, looking at this. Here it is, yeah, 46.
Yeah.
So we have two soil types with right at 100,000 acres, 97,000.
Yeah. And then we're dropping 5935 and gaining 5905.
So if you guys are or what I would, and then what I'd like to do is I would like to get this implemented. And typically we download our new values, new ag values in December and January. And I told Zoe and I asked Zoe at the state, I said, that's not gonna be acceptable. Not with this. If you guys approve this and if they can get this to work, I wanna download these right away in our 2022 calendar year. I want to recost them, I want to get those water ratio tables, and I want to have some answers on what this is going to do by October. And then if we need to do anything, we can. We have 4 months.
Do you need a letter of our support for this 7
No.
year?
She just needs me to send her an email saying Stafford County thumbs up or what have you. Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Because we'd be more than happy to do it. I mean,
They, maybe if Pratt and Harvey had more acreage, then they would win it for 3, but if it's just,
Yeah.
it's mostly us, is
Yeah.
who it is.
what'd you say, Pratt and Harvey, or they got
They just don't have that many acres.
less than 10,000
Mhm.
both?
Yep.
So just so I can make sure this, I mean, we're gonna get a lot of kickback from this. I mean, this is something coming down mandated by the state, and we gotta do it.
That's, well, the mandate is by statute, I have to follow their price per acre per soil type.
Yep.
Because I can't change the NRCS soils or their SRPG ratings, and I can't change the values.
So he's
So-
going by the
So
price per
unlocked-
acre,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the people that are categorizing the acre types.
So when somebody flips out at me at the coffee shop, I can tell them this is mandated by the state. They give us the numbers and we have to follow what their stuff is.
Yeah, the only bad thing, I hate, because these are our values. We didn't set them. I mean, you're right. Yeah.
The state sets
And that would be the NRCS.
Yes.
Yes. And then what we do,
Because the numbers really haven't changed much, it's the soil
it's the
type.
soil
that is-
types have.
That's what's changing us
That's the problem.
and getting us down is, it's not necessarily the number, because the numbers have all pretty much stayed the same.
And I think we agree with that. I think if you look at the numbers, they're okay. I mean,
It's
that's
just
why
the
we
fact that
couldn't appeal
our,
it.
it's just the fact that our soil types are,
Or been too wrong. And so what we'll do then is I'll go out on the survey and I'll go get the new soil survey. And then they will have, I'll go out on the web soil and they'll have all the new soil out here and the number of acres. And then we'll get started. I'm not thinking it's gonna be as bad this way.
Yeah,
I don't, because one good thing is our dry crop was already on the downward swing. That's for us. So, I don't know what else, I really don't know what else to do.
yeah, I mean, where the people that are sitting over there by the Edwards County line and they're going, well, my circle in Stafford County's twice as much.
Exactly
You know,
right.
then when we
Yeah,
say that our soils were underpriced, I mean, is Edwards County's way underpriced?
What it comes down to is they're in a little bit different part of their district. And then they're also, the way they do their crop mixing. If you guys remember that conversation, the crop mixing, a lot of summer fallow here and so forth, where some of the other counties don't have that like we do. We're just actually a very diversified farming community. I mean, very, very aggressive irrigators, but yet very aggressive for the conservation. And I'm not saying they're not, I'm just saying with our difference in soils, our farmers handle things
The
different,
protection is greater.
you know. And it's the same reason we're in the water issue too,
Yeah,
you know. The main county involved in that is who?
yeah.
Stafford County.
So right now, there's 4 zones or 5 zones across the state,
9,
9
and they call them districts.
districts.
And we
but
want.
they're not necessarily slivered north and south, they're more.
There's like they go like 3 counties north and south, but they go 6 and 7 east and west.
Yeah, so it's too far east to west.
And I think we was on the same page, I think we would agree with that, and some people at the state did, but now they've retired.
Then there really should be around 11,
That would be, at least just
To
to
be
make
more-
that more narrow,
because,
you know.
for example, Marion County, there's more grass and
It's not
rocks.
even, and you know, it's not even close to the same farming practices.
No.
It's not. But we're in the same district. You know, and you feel bad for Phillips County up there, you know, you talking about Russell and Ellis, well, Phillips and Norton, Phillips is with, I think, all the way over to Washington, and then Norton is with all the sand.
Yeah, no, it's,
I'm 100% in favor
Okay.
of the prorated now.
Yeah.
Done, okay.
you bet.
Okay, all right, I'll pursue that further then. Okay, the next 2 things,
And one second, before we move on just real fast. It's on an 8-year average.
Dry crop, irrigation's 5.
So we're gonna be substituting out some high years and subbing in some low years.
And that's why I think doing it 1 year at a time is gonna be
It'll help
fair.
average that
It
through.
will, I think it will.
And then by the time you're at 7 years, you'll be hitting
They won't,
this commodity cycle
Yeah.
where we're coming back up.
but then they won't have that huge problem
Yes,
again.
yeah.
After that, we shouldn't have this problem again, ever. I mean, because the
Yeah.
Carlisle's gone.
Okay.
Okay, the next 2 pages will be the budget and so forth, so I kind of put in there where we were at, the salaries for 2022. Then the last 3 pages, or the last couple pages, I think I stapled together would be if you guys wanted to sign me as a contract. I mean, I would like to stay. I mean, I've spent over half my life here, and I've enjoyed the majority of it. I mean, I don't think anybody's enjoyed the entire job, but I did put on there that, because I think, Todd, you asked if I was something about an eligibility list or what have you, or something. Somebody did anyway. Anyway, but what I put on, I mean, you might ask how many, if I was on a list or something.
No, I just asked
Oh,
about,
yes, sir.
you know, if we could get more, you know, have like a guaranteed
Okay.
date, or if somebody wanted to make an appointment,
Okay,
see them.
what I put on here at the very last is that I just want to show that I was on the eligibility list. That's after the contract. Highlighted that, and that I have all my hours right now. On that page, Todd's on the very last page, that shows that there's 0 hours needed. And then we start all over July 1st of 2021 to June 30th of 2025. And that's just not me, that's everybody in the state.
Yep.
Same guidelines there. In the budget, 2 weeks ago, I asked for 74,000. What I actually budgeted was to go from 69,000 to 72,000. And so I put in the 2022 budget, 72,000. And to make this simple, you know, and with my salary, I think now if you guys agree to that at 72,000, I'm locked for lifetime.
Are you still planning on retiring in 4 years?
You know, that's probably not gonna happen.
Okay. I mean, I think 6, when we
We
started
talked about
talking,
it, yeah.
you know, and you said at that time,
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that would be the budget. Most of it stayed the same. Some things changed a little bit. The education, if you looked at percent-wise, that's under the contractual services, under meeting and travel expenses. I went from 13 to 18. That's just, you know, we just got it. Donna's been taking a little more classes, try to get up to date on some things, so. And she's doing good on the exams but anyway, that's why that would have changed like that. Everything else stayed about the same. She takes one more class, then I think she's got it coming up. We finally got her back in that. Is when I'll come in to move her from a 7 to an 8. And then we'll be on schedule, even through COVID.
Yeah.
Have you been happy with your Kimball mapping that we do?
Yes, yep. They're actually going to play a part.
Yeah, I saw you had a note on
Okay,
there.
we're gonna keep Kimball Mapping involved. Kimball Mapping is the one that's gonna probably keep us from doing a lot of data entry on this 96,000 acres, where they can download, they have the software to where I hope we can go in and we can change, they can write a program to where we can change soil per soil. And then we have to go in and edit it, but we won't have to do all that data entry over the summer. They may speed us up considerably in this process. Yeah. And we review that, I think this is the 3rd year, Todd, we did a 5-year contract, so that can be reviewed in a couple of years there. So there's the budget.
Clay was gone last week from the meeting. We'd like to discuss the contract renewal, if we can meet
Okay.
again next week.
Okay,
Or I think that's at least my, we just haven't had a chance to talk.
Okay.
Since, I mean, we haven't talked any since
okay.
we had our meeting. And that's what I'd like to do, just to visit about it.
What, and that's fine. The, Nita has the actual, all your guys', like mine has copy stamped on it. Nita has one that's not,
You won't be here next week. It'll be the 16th.
Oh, yeah, we won't be here next week, will we?
You'll be in
We have a
Lincoln.
commissioner
That's
conference.
You'll be gone next week. So your next regular meeting will be the 16th.
Keep forgetting about that.
Going to Liberal, Kansas?
Yes. Okay,
okay, that's all I
Is that
had.
okay with you?
Yeah, yeah,
thank you, Carl.
okay.
Thanks for
I
the
hope,
explanation on
I
that.
hope we can
soil
get
deal.
something done on this. You know, this can's been kicked down the road for the last, well, what, 4 or 5 years? As far as,
I think you could take every landowner in Stafford County up to Topeka and give them your case and they'd smile and,
say thank you for
Nothing but
coming,
good
but no.
am I wrong about that, Carl?
Nope, you're not.
Well, the same thing happened with the three townships down there. They hired an attorney and they went.
Yeah.
That's what we have to look out for them.
I
And
think the best chance we'd have would be to argue, you know, that instead of 9 zones, you need to have,
at least
or
11
districts.
or whatever.
Yeah, instead of 9 districts, you need to have at least 11.
And couldn't, NCRS, couldn't they do that? Couldn't they say, okay, here's comparable soils and make up a zone?
You know, I don't think it would be hard. It's just a matter of recombining and recalibrating the counties that you want to put together. You know, if you say you drop off Stafford and put us with Stafford, Pawnee, who's beside Pawnee?
Kyle,
Hodgman?
Hodgman.
Hodgman, and then go north and south for a couple counties. What's wrong with that district? And then, beside us, Harvey would go with, Reno would go with
Yeah.
them. I mean, what is so wrong about something of that nature?
Do you have a map of that shows those districts, how they're laid out?
About our certified values, last Wednesday, what, just from 30,000 feet, Nita gave us a little bit, but we went up,
Not much on the real estate.
okay,
Most of it came from the oil and gas.
yeah,
Oil, I should say, not gas.
yeah,
And then some on personal property.
okay,
But your real estate isn't gonna change a whole lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the oil and gas came up a little,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
we're at least in the same shape or maybe a hair better than last year.
I think we're better, you
Okay,
know, value-wise, and probably, you can probably, if you wanted to guesstimate possibly what's going on, probably in the next handful of years, we should be okay. Because you got 4/5 of the county that's gonna see an increase in valuations.
yeah, that's not really where I wanna get it, but.
No,
Yeah.
but it would kind of give a history of what's gonna
Yeah.
probably take place. And a consistent one instead of that roller coaster that we never won on ag. You know, we're right here and then we're gonna go
Yeah,
way up here and then what's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah.
Warn that downfall, we don't want that, that's not good for anybody, so.
Yeah, it's hard to budget when it's like this. You know,
the only downfall that I see with the 7-year plan is you'll get those talks from people about, you know, my property taxes have doubled in the last 7 years. But they don't remember the day, you know, that you could have just went roller coaster here,
Yeah.
and had a heart attack. You know, if we could get that passed, it would definitely be a good deal, but 7 years is a long time, people just don't. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it too. You don't remember what happened 7 years ago to know why it's doubled, you know? It takes that initial shock out of it, but it's still, you get to looking back on your QuickBooks in over 7 years, you're like, man, this is doubled.
No, that's true.
But I don't see any other way. I mean, I'd much rather do that than jump straight up.
Good.
So,
That's all I
okay,
have there.
thanks, Carl.
All right, thank you.
Nita, I was brainstorming about the COVID funding that we were getting.
Oh, yes, I need to tell you about that.
Go ahead.
I went ahead and jumped through the hoops so we could get it. And we've gotten 403,000 sitting in the bank account.
Nice.
I mean, if we use it, fine, if we don't, fine. After
Well,
last week or
I-
week before,
I think I might have come up with a way to free up some of it.
that's half of it.
Yeah,
So, the literature that I've read, and I'm sure there's more, but states that we can make improvements to, like, pretty much no questions asked with sewer. You know, city sewer, rural sewers. And the St. John City Council has just approved a big project, almost 200,000 for the sewer in St. John. So why, or would it be a no-no for us to pay for that and them write us a check? Because they're gonna spend it regardless. Like, they've approved it, they're ready to spend 180, 90,000 on this sewer project. They've already budgeted for it, I mean, it's money spent. We could approve, I mean, a sewer project, it's in the county, this is county, we have to use it related to COVID, it's in the county. So why could we not pay for that and then them write us a check and then we have free funds? Or we have you see what I'm saying?
it sounds good, Bryce, but
I don't
a
know
little
about
shady.
that.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
because they're spending it regardless, what does the government care whether they write us a check?
Well, but that's the thing, they've already budgeted for it, they have the funds set aside for it. This money is for
This is like.
non-budgeted things, like the sewer system, septic's out in the county, you know, or something like that. And you're crossing city and county there, the city gets their own,
Yeah,
bunch
they're
of this
planning
money.
on, they haven't figured out how much they're gonna get, I don't
They should.
think, last time I talked to them. But that was several days ago.
yeah, I don't think we want to do that, because I think we would get in trouble. Now, I'm still
I
sitting
wish
up.
we knew for sure, because that would be a really good way to free up 200 of that 800.
Yeah, but
And they may never say anything, because,
they might not, but then they might. Then you have to pay it back.
well, they're gonna pay it. We give the city their money back. They're already paying for it, that's what I'm saying.
Oh my God, I don't know. I have to figure that out.
Well, it might be a question to ask somebody
Well,
that,
the
because,
problem is, we don't know who, nobody knows who to ask.
well,
Because
yeah, that's
the last
that's the
webinar, I
problem.
said,
I
well, we're
know-
still finalizing your guidelines
I'm
and
thinking that Barton County is working on a similar project right now,
to do the same thing,
very similar.
I will call the county clerk and find out. Oh, that gives me
Was there
heartburn.
anything about,
Well, we just keep it in the account for 6 months and don't spend
There
it.
is,
Yeah, yeah.
If they
want it
need their
back, we'll
money
give it
back, give it back.
you're crossing city lines. I mean, you're gonna use county money to fix
Yeah,
city
okay.
houses. I mean, you're gonna, I don't know if you wanna get in the housing business. Now, the infrastructure, I could kinda see that. The sewer, the, you know, all that, but I don't think you wanna fix Jim Bob's house and. why did
Even
you
though the
fix
city-
alleys
maybe we
and-
could do a countywide broadband.
And-
Every farmstead
You know.
in the county have broadband.
Does the city sewer sit on city property or is it county property?
It goes north into county property.
City owns it,
But the city owns it.
city owns the sewage plant?
I don't know, I'm just
I
saying.
don't
that
know
would be-
either. Like I said, I just got it last.
And it may
first
be a
week.
mute point because I know that they're getting some money also. And I don't know the number for sure that they've approved, but
Is it a grant?
no,
Okay.
they've approved, I think they're running, don't quote me, but I think they're running a liner or something in their existing sewer in some places. Anyway, they've approved, it's between 175 and 200, I believe. And they're getting some of their own money, and I think they were planning on paying for some of that, but I just got to thinking, it's pretty clear in this deal that you can spend it on sewers.
Right,
And technically, it's in the county.
but I don't know that you can get reimbursed back for it. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to pay for it,
If the city
Well,
didn't
I
have
don't
the
wanna get
money.
in, I don't wanna
Right.
get into paying for city projects.
exactly, because where do you draw the line?
But if it's a pass-through,
Well, we can't be a pass-through for that. I guarantee you that can't. I don't know. I'm not gonna say guarantee.
But I feel pretty good about the rural septic systems.
for sure, yeah.
I mean, it's,
That's
But that's a
Absolutely.
small
Yeah.
drop in the
Oh,
bucket. I mean,
yeah.
we're gonna have less than 50,000 in
Yeah.
that whole deal.
Oh.
I can't believe they send this money out, and there's not somebody up there that you can call them and say,
They're still
can we?
working on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the horse has
another
left the
WebEx
barn.
to sit in
but
on
we'll-
tomorrow.
we'll write the rules later.
yeah.
It's like, okay, we need to know. And
Cause we could figure out really easy how to spend 200 grand of
If it was unencumbered.
unencumbered. No, but this whole tying it to COVID deal is a little tough.
yes, it is. I mean, you can get creative.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do,
But man,
is get creative.
I know, but you get popped and you have to pay it back. Where do you pay it back from?
Well, we'll just keep it in an
Well,
account
you
for
know-
a while.
No, let's just keep it in the account that it's in.
Carol, whatever he says. All right,
How we doing, Mary?
I'm good.
just relax a little here. Take a deep breath.
Oh, you have bad knees, that's a hallmark.
Yeah.
I don't like bad knees.
Okay.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I have my prepared 2022 proposed budget. Basically, it is the same amount as last year. The only thing is this year, I kind of changed some figures around. I've increased my salaries, and that's just to help with the step increases, yearly step increases. As far as my telephone and internet, probably 90% of our phone and internet services are for motor vehicle. So I've asked Nina, and I'm gonna start taking those expenses out of the motor vehicle expenses. So that alleviated the 2021 telephone and internet expenses. And then just a slight increase on my advertising and printing, which actually I didn't know before, and that like when I publish my quarterly reports and all that, that should come out of the county general, and I was taking that out of my budget. That's why I was over last year, because I was using the wrong figures, and I was kind of just using,
Okay, that's why
I
it's
was just
49.
going, yeah, I was just going off of the ones that were done before me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they were taking them out of the treasurer's fund, because I looked clear back to when Lisa Milton was doing them, and they weren't, they were out of the county fund. So, that's the only thing, and I'm really not sure on how much the record storage at the salt mines is gonna be. I'm hoping it'll stay pretty much to what it was last year, but, everything's going up.
Yeah.
So, and then my computer equipment, it was up last year, so I was kind of increased that to $500 for, just because of the equipment costs.
Mhm.
So, and then I also wanted to let you know that,
I've transferred $122,798 from the motor vehicle fund to the county general fund. So I'm supposed to do that every year, so.
122.
122,798.
What stuff do you store up there at the, salt
Yeah, I was
mines?
interested
Just
about that too.
Curiosity, do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it's all of the old
Old tax
records, tax
Really?
records,
You have
tax
to keep
rolls.
the tax rolls.
Ever.
And they were in these
Forever,
super
yes.
big books. And
Yeah,
they shrink wrapped them and put them on pallets. It was quite a project in there.
I'm sure it
And
was.
had the guys haul them to the salt mines and store them down there.
Really?
Like 3 truckloads.
Yeah.
How long ago did they do that?
Oh,
Oh, probably longer ago than I think.
10.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's been.
Probably
10, 11.
10-ish years.
So we've spent $30,000 to store those books for 10 years?
Well,
That's gonna be-
3,000.
Luann
Yeah, but over
stores.
10 years.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, yeah, duh.
Luann stores microfilm down there.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
District Court has
I
some
know
records
District Court
down
has
there.
records.
The problem
down there,
is
so-
I don't know that you can build something to like,
No.
Oh, you
No.
can.
I mean, yeah, it's a sunk cost because to
Well,
build something
yeah.
that's
And you-
pressurized and you
Fireproof.
It'd be nice if you could ever get it to where it was digital, put onto a chip or something.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, keeping 50-pound old books that are 100, of course, I don't know.
Mhm.
It's kind of like our law library upstairs.
Yep.
Oh, I know, nobody uses it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge area,
It
takes up
is
a lot
a
of space.
huge-
That has to be.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Till you get them
Exactly.
on. Talk to
I
your
know
legislators
some
about that.
places
Get 'em
they're
get
down
it
in
off
their
the books.
basements.
Yeah.
You know, they, like, I think it was in Ellsworth, I believe, Peggy Spotty had hers down in the basement of their
Wow.
courthouse.
That would be.
So, yeah, it's just.
I mean, the salt mine controls humidity
Mhm.
and
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
obviously fireproof.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
but have you ever been there?
Yes,
It's
well, it's been a
really-
few
it's-
years.
it's really
It is
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool in there. I've been one time, so,
Old movie films are stored there.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, yeah, I wish they would change the protocol as to how you can store documents. You know, I wish they could put them to where you could put them on a flash drive or some kind of a drive
Yeah.
that would be preserved. The only bad thing is with technology,
Yeah, it may
is
be
that
out there.
drive gonna be
In 30
in
years. it
30
might-
years? Are you gonna be able
You know,
to
How many
recover
people
that?
can read a floppy disk right now?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right,
And that
yes.
was.
That was cutting edge.
Yeah, that wasn't even
Exactly.
30 years ago.
And I know there's a lot of things that
In
are,
my desk.
I know.
my
I got
film, I
something
think,
on the
was
desk. I had to bring it over
preserved.
here.
Yeah.
Preserved
Put it in this
but then you have
computer,
to-
put it on
It would all be
One
cloud-based
of those
now, I
jump
would
drive
assume,
things.
to where
Which
it's
also
not.
can be
I
hacked.
can't even
Yeah.
just.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you need to get to those records and look something up, you'd have to go down there and get them.
You have, and you
unwrap
have to
them,
know
delve.
where they're at,
And you
which
have to pay to
room.
have them retrieved.
Yes,
Yeah.
You
you
have to
do.
pay to have them put back.
So basically the storing just basically you can say, they're stored down there.
Yeah.
Right, they're preserved, but if you wanna look at
And you
them.
write the yearly check and
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
But they're
it's kind of-
secure and where they're
Yeah.
supposed to be.
But really, nothing else, I mean, doesn't look like anything else, really, other than moving a few numbers.
Not really, no,
around.
no, I wanna try to keep it as close to the same as possible.
It's like a 1.5% increase for salaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all,
Right.
that's my
Thanks, Mary.
story. Thank
Stick
you.
to it.
Thank you.
Oh, can I ask another question?
Sure.
This land bank stuff is just still driving me crazy. I got a letter today from the city of St. John that says they've got 2 properties to take them off the tax roll. And I think when Julie Lyon was here, she talked to Carl and he said it needs to start it with him. But the statute specifically says to treasurers to take those off of the tax roll.
To make them exempt, you
To
mean?
make them, to take them off the tax roll so that the city, the land bank doesn't get tax
It makes them
statements.
exempt.
Yes, basically. I
Should
I
start
don't
with
like
Carl.
that. I think so too, but
Because,
Well, you're looking for like some validation or some, not, that may be the wrong word, but you'd like somebody else to
I
say,
want
yeah,
some-
so it's not just the
yes,
treasurer.
I want something that,
Because we really
someone
have
to
no
tell me,
choice.
yes,
We really
you
have
can
no
take
choice
this off.
on to do it or not to do it.
That's
It's
correct.
basically the process of
That is
doing it.
correct. So I called Luann, and yes, they do get deeds when it transfers from the party to the land banks. And so I've got the deeds, which that makes me more comfortable too, knowing that, hey,
They do
when I
actually.
put that with my allocation, or my, my tax roll sheet, correction sheet, I would put those deeds with those sheets.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
but in order to
Do I
make
need
that
to go
property
for-
exempt, doesn't Carl need to do that?
well, that's what I'm thinking.
Pretty sure
Because
he
that's
does.
what Carl said, it needs to start with
Mm-hmm.
him. So,
Take him the deed and say, here.
well, that's, I think, I mean, it's,
But it should just be basically a rubber stamp deal for Carl, shouldn't it?
Well, but he needs to exempt
they
them in
have
the
to,
system.
yeah, they have to initiate the
Yeah,
exemption.
they have to do all that.
And then you'll
Yes,
accept
and
it
then I
and
accept it, and
ultimately,
then they come.
maybe they just don't talk in the
Is this a statute you're going by?
Yeah.
Maybe they
See, I
just
just-
don't talk
I
to the
guarantee
I'm
process
they
not
on the
comfortable with
statute.
that statute at all.
They don't know what they were doing.
I don't think so either. So, okay, well, I'm just gonna, Beth brought me a list of, I don't know, there's probably 5 or 10 for each town or city. So I'll just go over and talk to Carl about it.
Or looking, because most of them I
Let's
think
see.
are exempt.
Yeah, I noticed
Because I ran that
one,
exempt report yesterday.
the city of Stafford just called me, that's why it took me so long to get over here. But I was on the phone with them, and there's a property that's on the tax sale next time. But the people have another property that is in the city of Stafford land banks. But when I looked that property up, it still shows that they owe taxes on it. So if it's in the city's name, it shouldn't show taxes on that property. So I need to check with Carl on that one too. So. Anyway,
That's very confusing.
it is totally
Yeah.
confusing.
Well, I'm glad we answered your question.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
I make a motion, we accept the tax roll correction.
Oh,
Second,
there we
second.
did.
We did?
Didn't you do that?
No, I handed them to Todd.
Oh, I
But
thought you did. Sorry, I already had it.
Yeah, all
If
right.
not, I don't.
No, that's okay.
I'll withdraw that
No,
motion.
you already did.
Second.
Yeah.
Move and second, we accept the tax roll
Sorry.
corrections. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Um,
And then the initial.
Okay,
Nita, what about the leak in the roof
it's in the annex. I don't know.
that they
It's-
just told you about it, or?
Teresa did. It's in the closet where all the chairs are.
So,
It's probably that peak, which is a vent. It's probably got leaves in it or something, wind.
I wonder if it was a big leak or
I didn't even go look. I don't
maybe I ought to look at it.
Call.
Tell Teresa next time she finds a leak that she needs to come in and talk to the commissioners about it.
That won't happen.
You know, it depends whether it's a cup of water on the floor, 5 gallons of
She
water.
said she has a bucket in there. Adams Brown, can we have them help with the budget again this year?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Don't have anybody else that's knocking on the door, do we?
He'll be gone next week. Told you about the money we got. Do you want to take up the Carl thing today, just to get it done?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about it.
You want executive?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we'll probably adjourn afterwards.
Well,
Or,
it depends on
no.
if you have a motion to approve his contract.
We probably ought to just have Carol wait.
I would.
10 minutes? 5 minutes?
10 at least.
10.
I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel for 10 minutes. Second.
Then moved and seconded, we go into executive session for non-elected personnel for 10 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel for 15 minutes.
Second?
Then moved and seconded that we go into executive session for non-elected personnel for 15 minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then after that, no. 15 minutes, Carol.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're done. Anything else?
Nope.
We're adjourned.